Welcome to this mini lesson about the role of music in storytelling. My name is Ioannis Makris. I am the head of European programs at the Directorate of Secondary Education in Western Athens, and I am also a music teacher with extensive experience in music technology. Today we will see together a theoretical framework and some practical advice concerning the role of the music in storytelling. Let's look at the basic framework. Each story creates its own world. This world has two sides, the inner internal side and the outer external side. The inner side is about the inner sounds of the story and everything that happens inside the story, and the outer side is about the outer sounds and everything that happens outside the story. We have story in cinema and theater, according to children's literature. Under the definition of interior and exterior sound in cinema is the word diegetic and non-diegetic sound. Diegetic sound is anything that characters can hear. Therefore, any sound that is not diegetic is for the audience's ear only. This includes the sound effects and some form of narration and the most common musical score. At this point here we will give some examples of internal sounds. Internal sounds are the voices and dialogue made by the character of story. Internal sounds include the sounds made by various objects in the story. Example, the noise of a machine driven by the protagonist, the door that creaks when someone opens it. The inner sound also include an orchestra that probably plays in the story, for example, the Titanic orchestra in the relevant film. Basic sound effects, for example, a dog barking, etc. Finally, internal sounds include the sounds produced through some medium. Example is a radio that the film's protagonist listen to. External sounds are essentially what create the atmosphere and mood in a story. External sound include a narrator's commentary, special sound effects that create dramatic effects, music to set the mood, and film scoring. Now we will look at the theoretical as well as practical framework for using music when we read, write, narrate, or present a story. So when we read, write, tell or present a story, we should identify all the objects that make sounds, all the actions that can create sounds, all the environments. For example, if we are in the city, the sound environment is completely different from when we are in a forest. We also need to identify all emotion as well as all transition of emotion in order to use music appropriately. When we will have to define the feelings, we will have to read the clues, and this will be done through the adjective and adverbs. It's also very important to be able to identify transition, natural or dramatic. We should draw visual map, visualizing contrasting patterns in the narrative, life, death, strength, weakness, harmonious, disaccord, friendly, threatening. Many times it's very useful to create a cue sheet, spreadsheet, time code of all sounds, dialogue, effects, ambience, music. One of the most important elements of music in a story consists in identifying or connecting the flow of images. In this way, the story is unified by bringing the visual interaction through an audio overlays. It creates a unity by creating the relevant atmosphere. Finally, we think that the external music bends the image. Very important in a story are the effects we will use. A very useful category of effects is the Foley effects. Foley is basically the reproduction of everyday sound effects that are added in post-production films to improve the quality of the film. But we can have Foley in all kinds of story, not only in cinema. Foley artists are often specialized in producing these effects. I think here the next video explains in great detail Foley effects, but also how animation sounds are created in movie and TV show. Below are some musical tips that one could use in order to create specific psychological feelings. For the feeling of tenderness, we basically use low activity, slow mean tempo, low sound level and small sound level variability, legato articulation, soft timbre, slow tone attacks, large timing variation, accent on stable note, soft duration contrast, final ritardando. For the feeling of sadness, we basically use also low activity, dual timbre, small articulation, variability, slow vibrato, slow mid-tempo, low sound level, legato articulation, slow tone attacks, large timing variation, soft duration contrast, and finally ritardando. For the feeling of fear, we basically use high activity, very low sound level and large sound level variation, staccato articulation, fast mid-tempo and large tempo, and timing variation, fast, shallow, irregular vibrato. For the feeling of happiness, we basically use high activity, fast mid-tempo and little tempo variability, high sound level and little sound variability, staccato articulation and large articulation variability, bright timbre, fast tone attacks, small timing variation, and sharp duration contrast. Soundation is a digital audio workstation that helps us record and edit. It's an online digital audio workstation. It was a very good sound library that allows us to use many sounds from its library. We can drag, drop, and edit them. We have the ability to open MIDI files, audio files, and instrument file as in all digital musical workstation. Then we can record or import sound and edit them. In Soundation, we can connect a MIDI keyboard in order to write the music we want in instrument and MIDI tracks. We can also use a USB microphone in order to make the recordings we need, voice or instrument. Soundation has a couple of digital synthesizer and all the effects you need for sound editing. One downside of it is that one can save up to 3 projects for free. Its free version also only allows MP3 export. There are several free tools for audio and video editing: Filmora 12, Coolcam, Movie Maker, CleanChamp. The problem with all free tools is that the project is exported from the program with the existence of a watermark. CleanChamp, it is one of the software which we can create a project without watermark. CleanChamp, it's a software which we can combine image with sound. We can import image, video, and music to create our own video. We can also use the library. It was with images, sound, and video. The main servers we work as was 2 columns. A, the left one, where we can insert video, images, music, and also use the already existing libraries of the program. And B, the right one, where there are filters, effects, etc. At the bottom, it was the timeline for image, timeline for audio, timeline for text. In this timeline, we do the video and audio processing. CleanChamp, as we said before, can export our project to MP4 without watermark. In conclusion, we believe that by using the above tools, as well as the theoretical framework we developed, we will be able to edit video and audio. What is needed is practice, and of course, there are many tutorials on the internet. Thank you very much for your attention.